gentleman of scholarship.
Okay, so it runs through eighth grade.
Eighth grade.
Okay.
Even though my parents are asking me, can we think about high school? Because after eighth grade, we leave them to their own devices to now go find a public high school, because there are not many high school charters. Not many.
Yeah, because that was the issue we ran into at one point, where the school only went up to, I think, 6, and then we had to find somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah,
to go.
and that's tough for parents, especially if you do a great job. And this is my third year. I feel like we still got a lot of areas to grow in. I'm happy that we're still accountable to what you all may have heard of, the Georgia milestones. It's what every public school student starting in grade 3 have to take in English and math, and grades 5 and 8 take science, and then 8th grade takes social studies. So we still get a measure of how are we doing as a charter school compared to every school. And because we have statewide attendance, the State Charter School Commission that authorized us to become an authorized school, they look at how we're doing. And so every 5 years, we get to find out if we're going to get renewed or not. We have to shut down.
Really?
Oh, you probably didn't know that. Failing schools, think about this. Failing public schools get to stay open forever. Right. They switch principals, they switch teachers. Charters, you get every 5 years. And if you don't outperform or do anything that suggests warrant you being open, you close.
Well, how are we doing?
We're doing well.
We're on track?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So when I got hired, we got another 5 years up to 2027. So we'll be up for another 5 years in 2027. But I'm proud to say when we got our milestone scores back for ELA and math, we outperformed the state in every grade. So we're doing well. Okay. But again, that's not my measuring stick. I want to be one of the highest. So
how hard is it being you? In terms of the superintendent,
that's good.
Teaching a class, like being you on a given day, how hard is it to juggle all these different hats?
When I remember my why, I chose this job, and I always ask the teachers, I'll send them a weekly email every once in a while that says, remember, you chose this profession, so let it show in everything you do. So I may be juggling, and I have a great team of coworkers that are probably doing it while I'm not there today. But it's not difficult, but the difficulty is being a leader of adults. I tell people, when I work in a school, the kids are never a problem. It's managing adults. Managing adults is tough.
What is one of the give us an example of like an issue that you would have with managing an adult that comes up time and time again?
I would probably say professionalism. I had one phenomenal teacher at my previous institution that told me, Mr. Christian, I don't want to take off work. And I said, you got days, sir. That's what you earn, days every month to take off. He said, I don't know what a sub would do to my kids. And I said, I said, wow. Because most subs aren't educators. They may be laid off somewhere. They may have their own private practice, and they're just doing it because, we pay $180 a day to sub. And he said, and when he put it in that perspective, I said, wow. And so he doesn't miss days. And so one of the biggest issues is, a teacher may say, I'm tired. I'll be off today. We got Friday, we got the weekends. We're out at 3:30. You can go home and, be with your family, run your errands. But it's tough. And one of the toughest things that came up recently, and we talk about, I'll tell you, 2 things can get a school shut down faster than anything. And people think it's behavior. It's if you don't do right by federal law with special ed. If you don't do those kids right, they're going to shut you down. And if you mismanage money and finances, it's going to shut you down faster. Those 2 will shut you down faster than anything. So when you are a general ed teacher, I expect you to be at class on time, ready to receive the students. But if you're a special ed teacher, because kids get so many minutes per day that's required by federal law, if you're 5 minutes late, that's 5 minutes we're in violation. So if a teacher tells me, or tells their direct support, and it comes to me, that I was only 10 minutes late. Well, you're 10 minutes in violation, and I am running this. I'm the head of it, so we're all running it together, but we're in violation. And so they may not understand 10 minutes late is a big deal when it comes to educating our kids.
The teachers, they're self-governing themselves as far as tracking their time.
They check in at the front.
They check in.
They check in at the front, and I can always go and check. But with special ed, I know my special ed director is like, hey, these kids, because there are some special ed kids that get pulled from the general ed class, or there are some that are high functioning that a special ed teacher pushes in and supports the teacher while that kid stays in there. Mm-hmm. But there are some that require them to have a special ed teacher all by themselves, small group. That way they can get all the attention in the world from that special ed teacher. Right. And if you haven't went and pulled that kid from homeroom to start their ELA or math, we're in violation. And that's something big with me, and I don't want to be on a 2, 5, or 11 plan. And people always ask me, what is 2, 5, or 11 plan? I don't want to be on channel 2, channel 5, or channel 11. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be.
I was definitely about to ask. Okay, what is that?
I don't want to be. I know we got channel 4 to 6 too, but I don't want to be on the 2, 5, or 11 plan. So
yeah, my cousin, she's a special education teacher in North Carolina, and you put more clarity around it. She was explaining some stuff to me. She was saying, yeah, each of the kids get X amount of time. Mm-hmm. It washed over me when she initially said, I didn't think anything about it. Right. But then you just said that. Mm-hmm. That really puts it into context. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that the criteria was so stringent as far as
the criteria is stringent.
Be on point.
It's stringent all the way down to the child's area of exceptionality. So you can have 2 kids on the autism section, for example, but one kid gets 55 minutes a day. The other one gets maybe 20 minutes a day. And so it all depends on their level of understanding and where they are. But I tell people, let's always never forget the goal of special ed is to eventually get the kids back to the least restrictive environment, which is back in the classroom. So if there's a kid that we pull out every single day for math, we eventually want them back in that class. So let's get them what they need and keep working. And that's why we keep assessing. We keep looking at how that kid is doing. And we'll call the parents in and have another IEP meeting and say, they're ready to go back in the classroom now. Yeah. So we have to keep collecting that data and seeing if they're meeting their goals. That's in their IEP. And then every special ed kid is not receiving special ed service in every subject. There are some kids that are just getting it for math or some for ELA, and they may, because if they get it for ELA, where there's a lot of reading, they may get support for science and social studies because there's a lot of reading involved.
If you had a magic wand and you could just bring something into existence that would make your life a whole lot easier, what would it be?
Wow, that's an excellent question.
From an educator's standpoint, I don't want to make it too broad.
Right. It has to deal with equity. A magic wand, because when we look at schools, we assume every school needs the same, and that's not true. I learned from the best mentor in the whole world. She just happens to be my wife. Been a principal longer than I have, but you can't just look at Atlanta Public Schools and say every school in this community, let's say it's 5 schools in a neighborhood, a small community, we're going to give all of them $1 million. You can't do that, because that one school, those kids are suffering from so much generational poverty. People can talk about, my mom, they may be poor. But I look at one school and their grandparents and their parents and their parents. It's generations of poverty, and it trickled down to their lack of ability to receive a quality basic education. Right. And so that school needs far more. So if I had a magic wand, I would make it so that every child and every school is receiving what they need in order to be successful. So, like I said, a lot of districts have done equity audits, but I think it's a lot of paper pushing and not a lot of doing to say, okay, we did this. We give all elementary schools in this district a principal and an AP. Well, this one may need another assistant principal, one to deal with just discipline to get kids to understanding how to behave and how to do this. While there's other schools, they don't have discipline issues. They just need the one AP. And that's my magic wand. I would really erase all the inequities and make it equitable. So, yeah.
All right, very good.
Let's talk entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Right? So when we met, of course, at the conference, a lot of conversation was about entrepreneurship, right? So how does that tie into what you guys do at BIA?
So last night at my board meeting, the board just approved a new entrepreneurship program with the T-shirt store. We get a lot of T-shirts every year for field day. We get staff T-shirts for whatever we may have going on. There are a lot of things going on. Our biggest fundraiser is called Boosterthon, and we get T-shirts for that. Well, this T-shirt store is a company that works with kids to develop their own T-shirt company. Kids are doing all of the designs, so we're going to run that through my art class, art program. The kids are going to design it. They're going to design the website. They're going to understand how to market. This company is teaching the kids marketing strategies, but they're going further. They're talking about law for the entrepreneur. They're saying there are some legal aspects of running a business. And they're going to understand there's a lot of math behind profit and revenue and understanding how that works, and even what they call the break-even analysis, okay? If we're spending $9,000 for this program, and we're going to sell these shirts at $15. What's our break even? In other words, the kids say, how many shirts do we need to sell to not lose, but anything after that will be just a profit? And so, but the kids are going to run this. And so now we spent, I can't remember how much money we spent last year on field day T-shirts. The kids are going to design it, and they're going to reap the benefits because all the proceeds are coming back to the school. So the board said that's a no-brainer. If we're paying $9,800 for this program and they're going to teach our kids how to be entrepreneurs, we're going to benefit and reap it. So and this is for even kindergarten.
And who's administering this?
The T-shirt store. That's the name of the company.
The T-shirt store.
The T-shirt store. We're going to have our own custom. The kids are going to have their own custom website, but and they're going to teach. They're doing it's 30 hours of virtual teaching kids, and they're doing it every Friday. And I'll tell you how our middle school works. Every Friday, our classes end at 12. Mm-hmm. All 6th, 7th, and 8th graders eat at the same time instead of the schedule. And at 1:30, they go into what we call Fresh Air Friday. So on Fresh Air Friday, we have the young litigators. We have a group of Atlanta lawyers that come in and work with them every Friday. And in April, we go down to Fulton County and compete against other schools in moot court and mock trial. Right. We have the young entrepreneurship, so they're going to be working with this as well. We have the young gardeners. They're the ones that maintain the greenhouse. We have the coding. The young coders, they're the ones that are coding. We bought a $6,000 robot that if a parent walks in, is going to have an AI conversation with that robot. But the students are programming the robot as to what to say and how to respond to questions that parents may have to ask. We have the young journalists. They do everything: the yearbook, newsletters. And so that Friday is where we get all the entrepreneurship, but also all the other things, even the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl. We have a team of students that compete against other students in the state. And we won the regionals last year that read 10 books, and they have to go into like a debate against other schools. So
I heard you say that you were already working with the Young Entrepreneurs Program. Yep.
I'm not working with them. So I need to find out about them. I'll entertain everything. So
my daughter, young daughter, she took a class over the summer in entrepreneurship through the Young Entrepreneurs Program, and it was enlightening. And they took her from concept all the way through to development, creating website, getting your EIN, opening a bank account at a bank, history behind certain things and why we're doing it that way, to
who's the founder?
he spoke at the conference that we met you at.
Omar Finley,
Correct.
my guy.
That's what I was leading.
I was his two sons' principal, and that's where Dr. Lavu is right now. Omar is a phenomenal guy, and I'm still trying to work out how to bring him in because they do leave his program with a business license, and I love that. You said EIN, so yeah, we've been chatting, and I didn't know it as Yep. I knew it as his company. He started off a book company, The Listening Tree. So
Right,
yeah.
Listening
So
Tree.
right, so I didn't think about Yep, but yet. Great. So your daughter participated in it.
Yeah, she went through this program this summer. When we heard him speak, I was impressed with how he had it laid out and what he was offering there.
Great
I was
program.
trying to do that for her. I just want to see. And I sat with her through each lesson. We did it on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
Saturday mornings.
And there was he had another kids, in there, and we did it virtually, like you said, virtually. They would do that, and I was like, I'm surprised that you weren't working with him. 'Cause
Yes.
he does that.
He does it.
He does it.
He does. And so, there are a lot of moving parts and initiatives that I want to do. And I said, this is my third year. And I told him, I said, what I'm doing now, extracurricular, won't keep us open. What's going to keep BIA Charter School open is making sure we're outperforming the state in what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Now that I've gotten to that level, now I need to ramp this up and provide our kids with other opportunities. And so you're right. I mean, this is amazing. I have a new partnership with a former student of mine that plays with Orlando Magic, Wendell Carter. His mom created a program called the Potential Pro. And what she does is she takes middle and high school students and she equated it to sports. There are 4 quarters of your life, and we need to learn how to master each quarter. You cannot look at the end goal and think that's the answer. You got to master each quarter and keep it moving. And so she has either a 6-week program or a 6-month program. And so
What's it called?
it's the Potential Pro. And
Potential Pro.
she's just now rolling it out. It's amazing. And so in April, during our spring break, we're going to take any participants, middle school that is going to be a part of the program. We're targeting about 40 kids. We'll take them to Orlando. And it just so happened during our spring break, the Hawks are playing the Magic that week of our spring break. And so they're going to invite us to the game. And we're going to go to Disney World, have some fun. But they're going to be 2 days dedicated to them understanding how to master your life, where you are, in order to get to the next step. And so amazing program. We're going to be the first school. She just developed it, so we're going to be the first school that signed on. So big up to Kyla Carter and Wendell Carter and his foundation for that. So again, it's that partnership and exposing our kids, because I went to college. You all went to college, and I'm still in for my doctoral program. But college is not the end goal, and we shouldn't wait to after 12th grade for kids to understand how they can earn money and learn how to run a business.
Right. That should be like training from a young age.
And because we're a charter, we can do it. So our hands will be tied if we're in a public school and we have to do this for 7 periods a day. Now I say, no, I can find ways. And if someone approaches me with a great idea, I can decide whether or not I'll move forward with it without having to deal with the politics of jumping through hoops. So yes, it is. It is. It is. Yes, sir.
Do you guys have any, I know you talked a little bit about journalism, so do you have any programs where they're creating either content, or they're doing like news shows or morning announcements, anything along that line?
Thank you for asking that, Creesh. Look, when I walked into that school, and first, our name was Brookhaven Innovation Academy. We now go by BIA because the school moved about 5 years ago to Norcross, so we didn't want parents to think we're still in Brookhaven. We still have that property. We're thinking about selling it, or either probably making a satellite campus separate for middle. But I said, when I walked in, the second word of our name is innovation, but yet we have an intercom system over there that you press the button and you talk. I said, we cannot do announcements like this. And so my media specialist said, do you want to do the news? I said, yes, but I want to be more advanced. I think the young journalists should record it the day before. And I said, and in the morning, you can have it set. that every teacher gets that YouTube link that here's this morning's announcement. So every day at 7:45, the teachers already have that link ready, and the kids are editing. The kids are doing all of it. And of course, now that I'm here, Baldwin and Creech, your community service will be coming to work with those kids because, again, people ask teachers to do a lot. We ask teachers to talk to the kids about different careers. How in the world can a teacher talk to a kid about being a lawyer or an engineer and they've never been that? We only know what we read. So you have to expose kids to professions and bring them there. And so while our kids are doing they're doing the editing, they're doing the news, they're writing the scripts. The only thing we haven't done yet is get outside with the mic and do like news broadcasts around the campus. They're sitting behind the green screen, but the editing, and again, a media specialist is limited. I need that expertise to come in and say, how do you do this? You all took time to set this up. The cameras, everything from that aspect, the microphone, make sure the sound is high quality. So those kids need that. And so we're exposing them. And so they run that. I'm glad you asked that. They run the whole thing.
Yeah, because I came from the old school of press the button. Here are the morning announcements.
Exactly.
That's all we ever knew.
Exactly.
We had some audio, video, but they normally use that for by the time we get to high school or your 8th grade, because in North Carolina it's 6th through 8th.
Yes.
And 9th through 12th.
Right.
So, well, in some places, in certain areas, they were, schools were. I think it was 6th through. What was it down y'all? What was it? 6th.
It went up to they had the elementary school. It was from kindergarten to 6th grade. And then we went to the high school, which was 7th through 12th.
Oh, and ours, when I was growing up here, it was kindergarten through 7th, and then 8th through 12th. And I remember asking an administrator in DeKalb County, where I grew up, why did we change? And they said a lot of parents felt like an 8th grade girl didn't need to be around a senior male. And I said, I understand that. I don't even know if I want a 9th grade girl around a 12th grade. So yeah, when is the cutoff? But I've seen some that do 10th through 12th. They say, okay, high school and then the junior high. But yeah, we need, if I were to show you a YouTube video of some of our kids doing it, they still need that help, that guidance with on-screen personality and projection and things like that, and not look like you're reading a teleprompt. But they got all of that. We have a teleprompt, but I spent a lot of money getting the equipment, and it has come to fruition. So I love it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yes.
You need a teleprompter because you.
So I need to speak.
I like.
I'm gonna get you a teleprompter.
You know what the most important questions are? Do you know what the most important questions are?
Oh, you're asking me that?
Yeah. Do you know what the most important question is?
The question that I asked.
It's the question that has not been asked.
That's the question that I
That's
asked.
why I will go. It's the question that has not been asked.
See, this kind of stuff I would like to see in the classroom. I say, I want y'all to talk about it. They argue, and I love when the light bulb comes on the student who was incorrect. Say, okay, I see what you mean now. What I was thinking was, and I love it. I love it. One of the things I'm getting the teachers to never ever say is no or you're wrong in class.
Right.
That's tough. Sure. Because it will, if a kid raises a hand and say, I know the answer and it's wrong, and you say, nope, that's not it, that kid is more inclined to never ask another question now because of embarrassment. So when a kid is wrong in my class, I'll say, what do you think the answer is? You think it's 3? Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, you say it's 4? Why do you say it's 4? Y'all understand that? He says 4. Let's look at that. That kid now know he was incorrect, and I never had to tell her that she was wrong, and she figured it out because I heard the correct answer, and I said, let's think about that. Let's look at it. Yes, that is correct. So those kind of things, it's like building the esteem of a kid to want to learn. And so there are so many different strategies. That magic wand I got so many entities that I can put it on, but yeah, I put that thing to work, They call me Merlin. Yeah, so it's a lot, man. But still, I tell people when I look at schools, I'll say 95% of student problems are adult problems. The kids are never an issue. The kids, I stop at 8th grade. My kids don't drive to school. So teachers, don't ever approach a student asking them, why are you late today? Email the parents, say, hey, I need them on time, but say it in a professional, like, I really want them here so they can learn. Do it that way. But don't talk to the kid about their haircut. They don't have a job. Right. Don't talk to them about their uniform. If you really care, go to the nurse and get another shirt that may be better. But it's how you approach it. But I tell you, the kid is the kid. And I know this might trip you all up, but I've never met a bad kid in my life.
Yeah, you tripped me up.
Yeah. So what about that little boy Lamartin on the Boondocks?
I've met kids who do bad things. I don't think we were ever created to be bad. We're not bad. Mm-hmm. They're making bad choices.
Right. You're right.
So I've never met a but I have parents that say, oh, he's just bad. No, you cannot talk. He has anger problems. I said, Mom, and I told a parent this 3 weeks ago, I said, I smile all the time. Nobody ever told me how to smile in problem. But as soon as a kid gets angry, or whether he's in therapy, he has anger problems, I said, tell the therapist and y'all stop telling that kid that, because they're going to process that and it's ingrained. We all get upset. What do we do after that is what's going to make us or break us. And so when a kid does something, they have consequences in my school, but I flip the script and talk positive. Mm-hmm. Kid comes in, I said, you're better than that. Man, you're great. You done made a simple mistake like this, but you're better than that. Your parents expected more. So I talk instead of, why'd you do that? Where'd you learn that from? I don't focus on that. Do not focus on it. So yeah, I tripped you all up, but understanding where I was coming from is that kids made some bad decisions. Right. Some real bad decisions.
So grown people.
Yes. Adults. They learn from adults. Yes.
That's the other thing, like even in the workplace, right? So I know when you're talking about how you verbalize something, it's like when you have an issue in the workplace, instead of saying, there's a problem, you flip it and you say there's an opportunity for improvement.
There is.
Right? So it's the concept and the balance of trying to make sure that people have positive reinforcement, but yet understand that whatever their issue is, we've got to address the issue.
Yes.
But we don't have to dwell on it and hang that sign around your neck.
That's right.
As that person, especially with kids.
That's right.
They take things very, very hard, but adults do too. So that's the balance. When I work with adults or I'm leading different projects or whatever, I've learned to understand the same thing that we look at as kids. Same thing follows us as adults. If you're sensitive as a kid, a lot of times you're going to be sensitive as an adult.
That's right.
And you just have to figure a way to deal with that type of situation because we're all different. So,
that's right. Yeah, we're all different. And I think kids are impressionable. They really want to make people, I think they really want to make people proud. And I had one kid, I think it's probably 9 years ago, and I'll never forget him. He was doing a lot of bad things. Smart kid though, smart, but always made some wrong choices. And one day in my office, I just asked him, I was like, dude, you're brilliant. You can be at the top of the class, but you don't get to have the fun on Fridays because of your behavior and the choices you're making. I said, just help me. Just why? What propels you to do this? He's like, Mr. Christian, I'm with my mom every day. This is a sixth grader, you all. He said, I'm with my mom every day. I called my dad. He might answer. He may not answer. He said, but when I get in trouble, he always comes.
He always there.
So that's how he gets his dad attention, by doing things. And I said, man. So I talked to Dad. I said, come eat lunch with him. Do that. I see this boy now. Oh my goodness, difference. I think he may be 22 now, just doing well. And I laugh at it because I learned a lot from him to not just assume a kid is just bad, just to be bad. He was doing it to get his dad's attention. He's like, man, my mom called my dad and he show up and he get on me. But I told Dad, he's only being bad because you don't come around on the regular. It's amazing, man. But we have to take that time to understand our kids, and we do it for our own biological. Why don't we do it for everybody else's? Because I think teaching is the only profession you deal with kids 8 hours a day. No other profession deals with that. That's interesting. So yeah, just when I think about the roles the role that teachers play, being with kids every day, we're preparing kids for a future in, law. Every doctor has to pass through K through 12. Every engineer, every lawyer, every police officer. So we're preparing students for their career, but yet it's the most underappreciated profession in the world. It's amazing to me. So I don't do it. Yes, I could have stayed and got more money in engineering, but I find joy in knowing that I've helped someone move ahead, and to see them come back now. I just remember getting a call from a former student who is now a nurse, has her own nurse pediatrics firm, and I said, wow. She's like, you taught me all the math I know at the private school when I left. I even had the pleasure of working with our senator. Jonathan Ossoff was a student when I was teaching, yeah, at Pidale. Give a plug to Pidale High School. So, yeah, I mean, so it's amazing to see people that have gone on. And I just commented on Wendell Carter's, he just signed his new deal maybe 2 nights ago with Orlando Magic, a new 3-year extension. And I just commented on his Instagram post, and he said, I appreciate everything you did for me. And I said, wow, because he was a phenomenal student, went on to Duke, could have went to Duke without basketball, but he went on athletics, but definitely academics. But when I hear that, that's my payday.
That's it.
That's my payday. So yes, that's what I do.
So are you a R&B or a hip hop guy?
Ooh.
Here we go.
Ooh, Creech, that's tough because it depends on what mood I'm in. Because my favorite group of all time is Earth, Wind, and Fire. So if you somebody put on Reasons, but if I'm somewhere and I don't want to hear Reasons, I need to hear Tupac. So I'm a music junkie. I'm a music junkie.
So give me your top 5 hip hop, R&B, doesn't matter artists.
I'm gonna do hip hop first, in no necessary order. Tupac, Rakim, Andre 3000, Bun B from UGK. Yeah, a little different. It's different. It's different, because and Ice Cube. Because and I want to put LL in there because I tell people, if you go back and listen to LL back when when he first came on the scene with radio, listen to some of his lyrics. He was well before his time, and he can still go. But being from the South, I wasn't well versed on, growing up Nas and Biggie and Jay-Z, Biggie, but I started listening to Jay-Z when he got with, I think it was UGK, when he made Big Pimpin'. I said a lot of people from the North were considered lyricists, but from the South, I was listening for the beats. I wanted something to dance to because I grew up dancing.
Right.
And so I wanted to hear beats. And so when they married the two, I said, oh, Jay-Z got something. Hard Knock Life? Oh, yes. But Andre and Pac has always been, one of my favorites. And I think what he did away from the mic, how he was, if you listen to him, he was a young, brilliant person. And I think being an advocate like that, that really resonated. But he was still his bad boy, But that's it. That's it for my hip hop. But R&B, like I said, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Man, you're near the top. You're at the top for me. Wow. Let me think. Yeah, because this gonna get tough now because do I want to go Usher?
Okay.
All because I look at him dancing, just the entertainment piece of it. My wife gonna get mad. I'm not gonna say her favorite person. Tank. I'm not gonna do it. Because it's her favorite. But I love voices. I love like true singing. So because that's why when I listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, but then when I listen to like Philip Bailey, they were, their voices. So it's hard to say because I listen to old school, I listen to new school, but I want to hear some good old fashioned singing though. So
Let me ask you controversial.
I know you're going to ask.
here it comes. Here it comes.
Going to come after this.
Here it
We
comes.
always-
Hey, I mean, you
Go ahead,
always
do
go
it.
there. I
Do
gotta
it,
go
do
there
it,
too.
man. Don't do that.
Is R. Kelly the king of R&B?
I would say yes. Musically, I'm not.
Yeah,
listen,
music.
what
We-
this
we
dude?
only speaking about music.
Only
Only
speaking
speaking
music.
musically.
Nobody can touch his catalog or his creativity. He's the king.
They did a survey the other day and they asked a group of people if R. Kelly came out of jail and he threw a concert and the tickets were $500 each or more, would you buy a ticket?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. It was like 100% yes.
Are you serious? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And it's not anything personal. My wife and I, we tried to go to Usher's concert. I missed it in Vegas when he was doing his residency. I mean, I said, man, I think that's a one-time thing to experience it, but it never happened. But yeah, for $500,
How much were those tickets?
they were roughly $470, you know, and you might have been sitting somewhere. But then he also had an after party at a location that was probably maybe $300, but he was there. He was mingling with everyone. High security. DJ Mars would always post it. But yeah, back to that. I don't know. It's hard. He's the king. He is the king. I mean, look at what he did. He kind of reincarnated Ron Isley. We trapped in the closet and brought that, and the storyline was crazy bananas. So yeah, I think he is. I think he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the questions we ask on this platform just to see.
But I think the next question should be, you know, removing him, who you think it would be, because that makes it tougher.
Yeah.
Because I have friends that swear by Bobby Brown when he went solo, and then I have people that talk Usher and they bring in Chris Brown, but it's
Right, they always bring
If I had to bring in the next person on that, I'd have to give the catalog to Usher. I've never heard anything like that Confessions album.
that Confessions album was sick. And then so I remember buying his tour on the DVD that you can watch, because I know he brought Monica up on stage. But when you look at that catalog, that's what it's made for, or number one fan and I said, you know what? So I would probably pick Usher, you know, because I think we throw Michael Jackson out and say pop.
Yeah, he sits in a
But Man in the Mirror, those kind of often his catalog nobody can touch. But then where do you put Prince? Like, is Prince R&B?
like I think Prince and Michael Jackson sit in another stratosphere based upon
Right.
who they are and what they did. Prince to me sits on a whole nother plateau because he was the musician that plays everything that, you know.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Flute.
Yeah.
So those guys, it's kind of like the Mount Rushmore. They sit up there, you know who they are. But then these other guys, they've created a lane. Like, when Usher came out as a kid, you don't fathom how this thing would grow. It was like, yeah, it was cool.
Right.
And when he dropped Confessions, and when he's sitting there, he's like, put that on everything. And I was like,
Yes. Yes,
Speaking of flute, did you listen to any of Andre 3000's flute album?
I did.
And what did you think about it?
You're gonna laugh at this. Every song, I was waiting for him to start flowing.
me too. Thank you.
I was waiting for the lyrics to come in and just hit me.
Yeah.
And I sit there because every time I listen to Andre, I just say, man, some of that stuff may not make sense, but how did he just put that together and it flowed? Like, I was waiting for him to start.
Yeah.
And so it never hit me like that. And so when he performed at Piedmont Park during the Music Fest, people were flocking to his set. And I'm like, I want to hear his old stuff. I got to go get a Quemini or something. So, yeah.
Look, I've been listening to Aquemini for like the last 2 weeks. Don't ask me why.
You can go all the way back.
It just
Southern playlist
hit me
Cadillac
on it.
music.
It's just him and
popped
I,
up,
Aquemini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aquemini, especially when it stopped, you think it's over, and then it come back in.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just watching how they started. Rest in peace, Rico Wade. Like, I had a very close friend. He was like a little brother. That was kind of part of them, but a lot of people don't know the background story of when Outkast came about and how CeeLo was almost really a member. and there were some things with Outkast, and they created the Attic Crew. Since y'all in the dungeon, we're gonna go to the Attic Crew with the Young Bloods and all them. And my good friend was in a group called Jim Crow. Ricardo, Cuddy Cartel, passed away. Rest in peace. He just talked about the lyrical genius of Andre, but Big Boy was also great. Yeah. But when they first started out, we just saw that, felt like there was a big gap. But next thing you know, Big Boy started.
Yeah.
And they were just, and then there were other people that we probably heard a song or two, like Witch Doctor. There were some talented people in that Dungeon family. But I've always been a Southern boy, listening to them. And again, it's funny how the West Coast almost, and Texas almost resonated with the down south, because when the DOC came out, I thought he was unreal. Then he had the accident, but again, it's something about that. But the way I grew up in the '80s, listening to 2 Live Crew, it wasn't about rap. It was all about dancing, and just being in dance, and going to skating rinks here in Atlanta, and everybody was dancing, and then that whole culture. I don't know if you all heard it. It's called Yeek. That Yeek culture is where Atlanta put a whole different style of dance on everything, and so that's how I grew up, and so it was all about beats for me. Planet Rock, from breakdancing, and play at your own risk, and yeah, all that good stuff. Yes, sir.
All right.
I think we have enough. We got over an hour.
Man, this is lovely, man. This is lovely.
But we have one more thing. I thought you was going to say it. That's why I was pointing at you. This is your camera right here.
Okay.
It's focused on you. If anything that you would like to say, any type of inspirational message, where to find you, anything that you want to share, that's your camera. You can look directly in that camera and say it.
Okay. Let me think about what I want to say. Okay, got it. So this is a message to all my parents of school-aged children. My advice to you is to really be involved. If you show me a successful public school, I'll show you what parents are involved. So it's not all about private schools or paying money for your children to attend school, but just be involved. And it may look differently, whether you're volunteering, attending a sporting event, or just coming up to support teachers with handing out papers, or being in the hallways, giving kids high five. But the main thing I want you to do is to be involved, because when your kids see that you're involved, they're going to be vested in making sure that they do the best they can and make you proud. So that is my message, and I look forward to hearing nothing but great things about you and your scholars.
Excellent. Said it all.
All right.
You have anything else?
No, I don't have anything else other than partners.
Yes.
I know you're always looking for partners.
Yes.
What type of partners? Let them know, anything that you're looking for specifically.
Okay. At BIA Charter School, we're looking to expose our kids to what the world has to offer. And so one of the things that I want to do is not always have to take them out of the school and into a profession. I would love to bring the professions into the building. So if there are times that you are able to offer something to the kids, whether it's from an entrepreneurship standpoint or something that you do on your own, I would love to allow you to come in and work with our students. This is a time where we want to make sure that our kids have every aspect of success, and one of the things that we can do is make sure that they get exposed to different entities. And so I always joke with my parents and say Tiger Woods' dad got it right, because he put him in one sport and it worked. But in today's age, we need to expose our kids and allow kids to find their niche. I exposed my own daughter to different things, whether she wanted to be a veterinarian or anything such of that nature, but she turned out she wants to study culinary arts, because I allowed her to watch me cook. And I told her to watch her grandmother cook and things like that, and she has taken to it. So, but if I've never exposed her to that, she would have never known that she would like it. So parents, let's get your kids involved so that they can find what makes them happy.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There is no excuse for good taste, because here
at the Gentleman of Style show, right here, we believe in better. Until next time. That's it. Wow. Thank you, sir.
Man, I love that, brother.